So how do we build a harmonious relationship with each other? First of all, the author used an Oriental word, saying that the most important thing is the Datong mentality. What is the Datong mentality? The explanation of the Datong mentality is that we must learn to pursue harmony, not victory. If you pursue victory with everyone in your life, I want to win. If we always think about winning in our lives, you will find that you can't get along with anyone. So this Harvard professor said how to achieve a universal mentality. He gave a very constructive method, which is to be able to reveal the myth of identity. Each of us has an identity myth. What is the identity myth? Because each of us often uses metaphors to think about the relationship between us and others. When you can change a metaphor, your relationship with others immediately becomes different. This is a very interesting thing. For example, as a manager, you have two attitudes towards your employees. If your own analogy is that they work for me, then you compare yourself to an emperor who is high above. At this time, you will be angry and feel that any offense will make you very angry. But if you can compare yourself to a teacher, I want to help these children grow by turning their mistakes into learning opportunities without offending you. By changing the discussion prototype, we can achieve different results. We should not underestimate the power of metaphors and strive for scientific thinking in our lives. We live a sentimental life. So in a sentimental life, the most important thing we need to learn is to find the right story. What are we? We are Simba, the Lion King, or we are Aladdin, the one who explores the unknown, or we are Snow White. If you find such a metaphor in yourself, you will immediately feel your power emerge. This is when you change the metaphor, you will find that your view of this thing is completely different. Do you treat it with an opposing attitude, the attitude of cancer cells, or with brothers, fathers and sons, families, and fairy tales? So in life, in fact, each of us is more or less influenced by the stories we have heard since childhood. These stories have shaped story models for us in our subconscious. We will unconsciously fall into it. We think I am that person. You always bully me. You do this and that. When you think that she is Cinderella's stepmother, you must be very angry. You compare yourself to Cinderella, and she is the stepmother who is uncomfortable. But if you can change your perspective, change the metaphor, it may be completely different. So to reveal the myth of identity, we should often think about which person we are in the myth. This will immediately let you look at the problem from a different perspective, and then learn to calm the pain in your heart. Revealing the myth of identity cannot erase the harm caused by the other person. To move forward, we must confront the pain, grieve the loss, and eventually consider forgiveness. Ignoring the past will only cause unresolved issues to linger. It's important to acknowledge and accept the loss, especially when dealing with relationships. Otherwise, trying to sweep things under the rug can lead to further conflict and betrayal. Therefore, it's crucial to process and confront our emotions first. When you experience a loss, forgive and apologize instead of getting defensive. If you caused harm, learn to apologize. Many people struggle with apologizing and make excuses instead. A genuine apology is important for personal growth. This is the second step, following the revelation of the myth of identity. Next, work to alleviate emotional pain and learn to connect with others from different backgrounds. When you can establish such a relationship in private and realize that the other person is a person, a comprehensive person who can help you, and that he is a face, an identity, and a sign, it is completely different. So the author said that we should learn to establish cross-border communication, and we should expand our relationship with people at different levels. There are 5 levels of relationship, each deeper than the last. The first level is recognizing someone's existence and status. Second is understanding their feelings. Then developing attachment, mutual care, and finally a sacred blood relationship, although not with everyone. Ultimately, we can aim for a relationship of mutual care. It is to gradually deepen this relationship. This is what we mean by reconstructing your interpersonal relationships and establishing deeper connections with more people, which can help us resolve many irreconcilable conflicts. And finally, how to negotiate. You will find that this book only gives a little ink on how to negotiate, and a lot of ink is spent on how to defeat the demons in your heart. If you can't defeat the wild tribal effect in your heart, you can't negotiate anything. But if you can put the tribal effect aside, you will find that negotiation is not that difficult. What is negotiation? Negotiation is to achieve dialectical unity. Dialectics refers to the process of understanding through the combination of opposing viewpoints. Kant and Hegel are the two philosophers who made the greatest contributions. Kant stated that by combining opposing viewpoints, one can arrive at the truth. Hegel, however, believed that this method had flaws and suggested a new approach called from abstraction to negation. This involves presenting an abstract hypothesis and having others challenge and deny it. Abstract negation finally forms a specific conclusion, which is called dialectical unity. In our daily life, almost all negotiations we participate in are to solve these problems. Is it party A, party B, or the middle? The affirmative party, the negative party, or the judges? Then acceptance or change, redemption or revenge? It is nothing more than a balance between these things. So what we have to do next is to cultivate the spirit of reconciliation. Cultivate the spirit of reconciliation in our lives. I know that many listeners will think that this book seems to be used in international negotiations after listening to it. No, there is a famous saying in this book. I think this sentence is really well said. This is a sentence said by Krishnamurti. This is a saint from the East who said that a stone can change the direction of a river. Yes, don't ever think you are insignificant. A stone can change the direction of a river. So as long as you make such a change, the whole society will change. We will gradually reduce the tribal effect in this society, make people in this society calmer, more rational, and more creative in solving various difficult problems. Only then can people reach a reconciliation, and there will not be so many difficult situations.